Hey, third graders! Welcome to Home Learning Day 24, April 30th, 2020. Look who showed up today to help us with some learning. At least he's really excited about it. Look at how excited he is. There's Turk, ready to go. Boys and girls, let's take a quick look at what is up today. What are we going to be taking a look at? Well, awesome. It looks like we have some real math today. Some word work, some story problems. Yes, sirree. Real math. Boys and girls, before we attack those word problems, let's check in with Mrs. Hickey to see how she's using the skill that she learned in third grade of how to figure out area to help her plan her garden bed work, and more specifically determine how much mulch she had to order. So before she can order her mulch, the very first thing she has to do is find the area of all her garden beds together. So let's grab our tape measure and check in with her to see what's going on outside.
Good morning, third grade boys and girls. This is Mrs. Hickey filming today. This beautiful load of mulch was delivered by Schmaltz Landscaping yesterday. This is 3 cubic yards of mulch. Now, you're wondering, how did I know to order 3 cubic yards of mulch? Well, I'm glad you asked. This is how I did it. I remembered what my favorite third grade teacher had taught me way back when, and that is to multiply the length of my garden bed by the width of my garden bed. I never thought when I was in third grade that I would need to know that information, but I'm glad I was listening, and now I'm going to get to the project. Wish me luck. It's going to be a lot of work. You boys and girls have a great day. Goodbye.
Boys and girls, let's ask Mrs. Hickey to show us how she found the area of her garden beds before she ordered that mulch. So I have my tape measure and we'll see how she did it. Mrs. Hickey is now measuring out the length of one of her garden beds. And about how far is that from that downspout to the end there?
14 feet.
14 feet.
By...
Now the width.
The width is 5 feet.
Very good. So because Mrs. Hickey listened to how to find the area boys and girls, you can see that Mrs. Hickey is putting mulch in many different places other than just the place that she measured out. For example, around our trees, we have many trees that need to have mulch around them. We also have a bump out. We have all these trees that need mulch around them. And some little areas like this here and there around the yard that we have some mulch around that need to be freshened up and fixed up a little bit in spring here. Well, that was nice of Mrs. Hickey to show us how she found the area of one of her garden beds. Well, let's head on into the kitchen table where she made her calculations before she ordered that load of mulch, and make a little diagram and write down all the measurements and figure out how she came up with her answers. So before Mrs. Hickey could order her mulch, she had to figure out the area of all her garden beds. And there she goes, and she measured out these garden beds, all of these garden beds. But what could she do with this garden bed? It has that bump out like you saw in the video, and then it goes down this way, and it goes back here. That's not a rectangle. I wonder what we should do about that. Oh, we can decompose it into rectangles, that odd-looking figure. Do you guys see it? Right here. Right here. Let's go ahead and do that. Well, there you go. I'm sure you guys did that too, third graders. See where the dotted lines are? Now we have 3 rectangles in which we can measure length times width, and then we can add those together. Okay, I'm going to run outside right now and double check those measurements and then write those down. So get ready. There you go. I just got back in from outside, and there's the measurements. So now we have to figure that out. We have to figure out all these lengths times widths and add them together. It's a good time for an equation. Now, there you go. There's all the numbers you need to make your calculations, boys and girls. So figure out that area right now, and I'll wait for you, okay? So go ahead. There's your numbers. Well, there you go, boys and girls. You can see what I did. There is, I took the, the 4 times 4 of these here, and I put them here, right there. And then you can see how these right here, these rectangle, their lengths times widths are over here. Okay. And then the ones in the backyard, those are over here, right here. So, boy, that's just the right size equation. I could just get it on a piece of paper when I turned it sideways. So let's kind of zoom out here, and I'm going to get it right to that, but I'm being distracted right now by this right here. Did you ever have that happen? Where all of a sudden a bowl of ice cream appears in front of you while you're doing your math homework at home? Well, I think I should probably stop and take care of that ice cream. I got to support Wisconsin economy right there. Well, I'm all energized now, boys and girls. Finished up that big bowl of ice cream. I'm ready to do some of my calculations to find my area so that I can figure out how much mulch I need. So here we go. Let's see. These are all basic facts. 16, 16, 16, 16, 80, 70, 75, 9, 50, 16, 16, 70. Okay, now I'm going to have to go through and add all these up, boys and girls. You double checked yours and add yours up now. We'll get right back to you. Well, good job. You all came up with 450, right, boys and girls? Fantastic. Yeah, you got the right answer there. Super. Merp, merp, merp. What's missing there, boys and girls? When I go over to the landscaping shop, they're going to say 450 what? 450 bowling balls? It's 450 square feet. And then you go over there, then they'll help you convert it to the numbers that you need to order the cubic yards, boys and girls. So they deliver the mulch in cubic yards. So there you go. So that's the first step to get your mulch for your spring mulch fix-up. Boys and girls, drawing that diagram really helped us in figuring out the area of our garden beds. And that's what you're asked to do here today, boys and girls. Now, I underlined the important information. I hope you will too. It says circle Solve. Circle whether you need to find a perimeter, an area, or an unknown side length. Draw a diagram to represent each situation. Now on the first one here, Carl is making a rectangular dog run. He has 36 one-yard sections of fence that he plans to use to keep his dog inside. He wants the run to be as long as possible. What is the longest whole number length he can use for the run? Okay, well, let's do our diagram. Now, this can be trial and error. You try a couple different things, and that's why it's important to use a pencil. I only use the pen so that you can see it better. So if we try 1 yard, one's the minimum here, and 1 here, then, and split the rest in half, we get 17-yard lengths on both sides. And if you count that up, that does count up to be 36 sections. 36 one-yard sections. So it worked for us the first time, but sometimes you might have to draw a couple different diagrams to figure out your answer. And then don't forget to answer it and label it. 17 yards is the longest whole number length that Carla would be using. And then we were asked to find the side length. Boys and girls, let's take a quick look at our daily language review for today. This first section here is very interesting. They're asking you to draw some conclusions about what had happened in these sentences. Where do the following events probably take place? So you read that sentence there, and then you write down the location where you think the waitress would have come to a table to take orders. Where would that be? What would be a reasonable, not your house. There's no waitress. Your mom or dad are not waitresses or waiters. So what would be a reasonable spot for these? Okay, now how about this one? Correct these sentences. Now, this is a very good one. We just had one like this not too long ago. We memorized a poem called The Sneeze. Remember, poems and short stories are put in quotation marks. You would, of course, capitalize that, so there'll be a quotation mark in front of the and a quotation mark after sneeze. Okay, it won't be underlined. That's something short, like a short story. I don't have no time to go. Are you going? I don't have no time to go. Are you going? I don't have to go. There's double negative here. We got some problems here. So that means he does have some time. And it looks like it's maybe 2 sentences. I don't have, how about any time to go, period. Capitalize the R. Are you going? Question mark. Okay. And which words have 3 syllables? Okay. Okay, you guys can do your clapping with that. You guys are pretty good with that. Or look them up in the dictionary or online dictionary. Boys and girls, let's see what's on our prayer workbench today. Yesterday was the corporal works of mercy. Today, we're seeing a compass. What does that remind us of? Oh, it's on our lesson plan to check in with guidance. Guidance helps guide us through our life and shows us a lot of great Christian attitudes. All right, check in with guidance, boys and girls. Check those guidance lessons. Boys and girls, you did a great job in our discussion of sees behind trees during our video conference today. So let's take a closer look at chapter 3. There's a bunch of questions here. We'll go through them all, but let's just focus on maybe a couple while you're reading it. A couple general questions here. What does sees behind trees mean when he states overnight, I went from being myself to being a person who was expected to know things? And then down here we have another question that you can think about while you're reading chapter 3. Now that sees behind trees is a man, what has changed and what has stayed the same from when he was a boy? So think about those questions, and we'll go through all of them during our next video conference. Boys and girls, you have a nice weekend. And remember, as always, go Zephyrs!